In the heart of capital city Atlanta, educators are advocating for power to the people through the ballot at a time when new laws may restrict people from voting.
Martin Luther King Jr. is one of our brothers. He was someone who led that fight to get equal rights for voting rights. And so we try to honor that to this day. We push people out there to vote. We go walk door to door if we have to. And we still get people to understand the importance of voting and letting your voice be heard.
At nearby Morehouse, an historically black men's liberal art college, Martin Luther King is immortalized as an alumni and leader of America's nonviolent civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s.
I think here, Morehouse, we value voting because we value our voices as young black men.
But new voting rules signed into law by Republicans will limit the availability of drop boxes for early voting, require identity proof to vote absentee, and have redrawn voting districts, all of which may disproportionately affect black people's ability to vote and be represented.
One way to control the system in a democratic system is to have some control over who has access to the ballot. But we're in a more integrated, more equitable community at this point. So some of the changes to the laws, for example, in Georgia, SB 202, these provisions, I would argue, are known to disproportionately impact black voters. But because we live in a more equitable society, interestingly, it doesn't just impact black voters.
The changes are especially important when you consider the history of laws in the US that intimidated or stopped black people from voting up until the civil rights movement led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Martin Luther King's first home is preserved in this historic part of Atlanta. People here are proud of his legacy of progressing civil rights and voting rights, and they want to make sure that any changes don't reverse that progress. Instead, they're advocating for ways to make sure more people get out to vote. Caroline Malone, CGTN, Sweet Auburn, Atlanta.